pay attention to this video. If you want to have a peaceful Sunday, don't watch it or watch it later because it might make you a little angry. But anyway, look at what happened here in Italy. There's been an earthquake in football because the official who assigns referees, Rocky, dance it, Rocky. Tell me, Rocky, that man who used to referee many years ago, well, now it turns out he's a boss, someone who assigns referees, and he's being investigated for complicity in sports fraud. Is this going to be resolved soon? What will make him look bad? We'll talk about that now. We're looking at the footage from that VAR room where something strange happened. And because of that, not just because of that, but for other reasons too, they've started an investigation, and there's a parallel with Spain. By the way, there's already a website where you can check all the documents, everything, absolutely everything about the Negreira case coming up. Well, you have it there in the video description. I'll show you the website in a moment, and that's where, as I said, you can check everything that Juan Luis Martín de Pozuelo has handled in the complaint. To the Spanish Football Federation and its ethics committee, it's also been sent to UEFA and already submitted to FIFA. Careful, this is moving fast, faster than Madrid. Madrid said something about a dossier to FIFA and so on, and we still don't know anything about that dossier. We'll talk about all this now, but first, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Remember the second to last video, I think it was, where we talked about how Pavel Fernandez, the referee analyst for Radio Marca, Spanish radio and television, and Teledeporte, gets paid 2-3 salaries, or I don't know how many, but one of them, a public one, there on Teledeporte, on Spanish television, was sharing, well, he posted an AI-generated image of Brahim with a beard. If you zoom in here, you can see that Brahim has a bit of a beard. The boots are Nike, when Brahim actually wears Adidas boots. The number changes too. It was made by AI. Okay, so he accepts an image as valid that in the case of a handball like this seen from behind, it's very misleading to use any frame because the ball could already be coming down, etc. Well, we mentioned it in one of the previous videos, and we said, but how is it possible that this man, this would already disqualify him from being a referee analyst for any media outlet? Let him start his own YouTube channel to spread lies, but not work for any media outlet, right? The guy goes on, you know, he keeps it up because the tweet is still posted, the individual tweet, but he retweets himself and says the following. In this recreated image or not? Is this a recreated image or one manipulated with AI? He's still asking himself. They're telling him, hey, the boots, the beard, Brian's number one doesn't match what's on the shirt, etc. He says the blurry broadcast images made it impossible to tell if it was a penalty. Now you're going to see some images that later came out, and you can clearly see it's not a handball, that Brian stops it with his shoulder. It's true that it took a while for those images to come out, huh? As always. Images that later show that Madrid was harmed, or that, well, would favor Madrid in the sense that they didn't call something against them. But those images fix everything and clarify everything. They always come out the next day. But anyway, he says, obviously, with this image of unknown whereabouts, it seems clear. Everything is wrong here, and the person can't even express themselves. Image of unknown whereabouts. It should be of unknown origin. Besides, now we're going to say where he got it from or where he allegedly got it from, because apparently the one I'm telling you about who posted it, apparently, according to many people on Twitter who saw this, was the first one to post it, okay? A Barcelona fan account. Well, we all know that Pavel is a Barcelona fan, right? Because of those photos of him in the Barca jersey, which we've discussed many times, right? He says that with this image of unknown origin that this guy told us about, it seems clear. If the image is fake, I totally fell for it. They always make it conditional. Is this an AI generated or edited image? But seriously, they're clearly showing you that it is. Hey, they don't delete the tweet because that's what's important to them. The little piece of crap just stays there. I mean, they don't take it back. I mean, they take the dog out, the dog does its business on the ground, and they just go, right? No, pick up the crap and throw it away with the bag you have and get rid of it and let this tweet disappear because you're lying. No, the guy, he retweets it and frames it conditionally. If this is a lie, but the tweet stays there, right? Because you go to the tweet by itself, the tweet is still there. And people check it. Of course, I don't know if he realized that this actually makes him look even worse. But anyway, the crap is still there and his followers believe it because they're anti-Madrid and all that. Now you're going to see the example of a journalist, the head of sports at ABC in Seville, And it's just unbelievable because I have the window right here. It's enough to make you want to jump out of it. I mean, it's something that makes you say, come on, man. But of course, then how could people not go after journalists? Well, of course, I belong to this profession. I defend it when I can. But man, look, I saw, I'm not going to show it here, but I saw some images of, just a quick aside, okay? Yesterday, there was a dinner with the President of the United States and correspondents. And so, well, you know what happened, right? There was an attempted attack, and afterward, there was no dinner or anything left. The journalists, who were people invited to the tables, both men and women, I saw more women than men, but well, in general, in total, they were taking the bottles of champagne that were there. They were taking the bottles of champagne. And someone there on Twitter says, this defines, another journalist says, it clearly defines what the profession is. They were taking the bottles. Am I going to miss out on this? Come on, please. Well, incredible. Anyway, we'll get to that now. But first, let's see. Where did Pavel Fernandez get it from? Pavel, where does that name come from? I mean, Pavel Nedved, right? But really, where did he get it from? Where did he get it from? Well, he got it from here, from Universo Barcelona, from Universo 1809. Let's see how they justify the unexpected penalty with this image. Apparently, this was the first one who posted it. But anyway, it was something that was already going around among Barcelona fans' accounts clearly, right? Well, there it is. I'm not sure if he got it from there. It's just an account, that's all. I mean, just look at how these kinds of troll accounts, people whose faces you never see and all that, create this herd mentality. Here, it has Kubala's face, but you don't know his name, his real face, nothing. This account has 500,000 followers, right? All right, that's one thing. That's one thing. Hold on. The one from ABC, Mateo Gonzalez. This guy is a journalist, head of sports at ABC Sevilla. This is from, I don't know, well, the press association, I guess, right? Anyway, what else? Oh, wait, hold on. Apparently, the guy is a Sevilla fan. Nervion Pride. Nervion Pride. And his name is Mateo Gonzalez. He's still a Sevilla fan. And the guy goes on to say the following, with Pavel's photo, with the photo edited by her, with Brian with a beard and wearing Nike boots. And he says that in Madrid, they complain about plays that were properly refereed. There was no foul on Mendy before the 1-1, and there was a previous offside. In Ricardo's case, he's talking about Ricardo's handball. Let's discuss that, which really amazes me. It's to win. Their victim narrative, in which they ignore that the penalty was real, that Betis was the one harmed. Well, Brian's handball and a penalty on Anthony. We've seen this so many times already. Well, do you remember? This is the penalty they were asking for Mendy on Anthony. Do you remember the image of this? Anthony lets himself fall. The contact isn't enough, not even the contact down low, because it's not a kick from Mendy. Well, that's to start with. Which offside is he referring to? Well, it was hard for me to understand, and it's true that apparently that's how it was. It was considered offside before the handball by Ricardo Rodriguez. Exactly the play where this ball doesn't reach Bellingham, or maybe he does get it, but anyway, whatever. Then Brian comes in and the handball by Ricardo Rodriguez. They said, and apparently that's how they called it, that this was offside, and the offside was cancelled out by 2 Betis players. Well, maybe 3, but especially Bellerin. This is the offside they mean, the one this scoundrel claims existed. And there was a previous offside in Ricardo's play. This is the offside. Look where he is. This is the moment of the pass, okay? Where is Bellingham here, and where are Bellerin and the rest of the Betis players? He's still level with 1, and 2 others play him onside. Well, wait, this isn't over yet. This isn't over yet. This is really intense. The guy says this. He says here, the account is from Diego J. Montero. He says, you're the head of sports at ABC and you're trying to spread a hoax or something. I don't know. Well, people pointed out to him, okay? Okay. It's crazy because the guy doesn't delete his tweet. Being the head of sports at ABC in Seville, he doesn't delete his tweet. And then when people reply to him, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Wow, he should be here. Let's see. Now here, because of course there are photos here, there are screenshots, but I prefer to go with the real tweets. I mean, the actual timeline. Okay, they show him that image. The guy, when they tell him the photo is fake, Brahim wears Adidas boots. Yesterday, the F50s in the photo you used are Nike. Yesterday, he wore Adidas F50s, but in your photo, they're Nike. And the guy posts this screenshot. He doesn't say anything to him. He just shows him the screenshot. With the ball already all the way down in the image, well, this is the image. That's where Brahim hits it. This is the correct frame. The guy uses this frame anyway to make it clearer. Of course, because here Raul Roman shows it to him and says, hey, man, this is the image. Here's the image. I can't show everything at once, you know. This is the image. When he's about to hit Brahim, this is the one I mentioned that appears hours later. It's clear that's where he hits it because the ball changes direction there. That's where, right there, it's the shoulder. The ball is touching the shoulder and a bit of the arm, but it's at armpit height. So this isn't a penalty. It's not a handball. But you can see it clearly here. You can really see it clearly. Hey, well, the guy being a journalist and head of sports at ABC Sevilla, the guy sees that image. I don't know if maybe this is a screenshot, you know, from the Blaugrana universe or from somewhere else. But listen, this guy is a Sevilla fan. He admits it himself. Pride, Nervión. And here he is defending Betis. Look, the anti-Madrid sentiment and the lack of professionalism, I mean, it's incredible. It's really incredible. It feels like you're in a dream, like this can't be real. People shouldn't act this way. I'm a Madrid fan, you know, from my videos. But when something is right in your face, well, you already know me. When reality is slapping you in the face, you say, hey, I'm going to stop. Of course, logically, well, you actually stop way before that, right? But what these people do is unbelievable. Porque they sent him the video. Time passes and he chooses this. It's just something else, man. Well, anyway, the guy is still there. Stubborn as ever. He doesn't delete it, man. Whether that was offside or not, you just need to look at the frame to say, no, it's impossible. He says it's a penalty by Mendy on Anthony. He doesn't care about the push. I mean, the grab by Anthony on Mendy before number 11. He says it's not a penalty. We saw it last week in earlier videos. Then this happened. I focus a lot on this guy because there are others. I picked this example because it's the most extreme, but it tells us what sports journalism is like in Spain. A guy who's a Sevilla fan defending Betis here just because he's super ultra anti-Madrid. And he's saying this with AI-generated images and choosing frames that aren't even in the videos they're showing him right in his face. Do you remember when journalists went down in Calciopoli? Well, do you know there's a Calcio Poli 2.0? There's a Calcio Poli 2.0 earthquake in Italian football. The referee appointments chief, Rocky, Dance It Rocky, is under investigation for complicity in sports fraud. The prosecutor's office is investigating alleged pressure from the referee appointments chief. An earthquake may be looming in Serie A and Serie B in Italy regarding this matter, according to the Aghi agency. Gianluca Rocchi, the referee appointments chief for the Italian First Division. Serie B would have received a notification as part of an investigation initiated by prosecutor Mauricio Aschione in relation to him and some events currently related to the 2024 to 2025 football season. You know, they'll later say, but it also happened in 23-24. You'll see. The prosecutor's office is investigating a specific incident over complicity in sports fraud. For complicity in sports fraud, whose images and audio are currently in the case file. It is about a match of Ines Parma on March 1, 2025, during which 3 referees were present in the VAR room in Lison, the nerve center of video refereeing in Italian football, like Las Rosas in Madrid for La Liga, observing and discussing a possible handball. One says, it doesn't seem out of place to me. Look at the arm's position. It appears on the body, says referee Daniele Paterna, apparently leaning toward no penalty. However, at a certain moment, he turns abruptly and appears and seems to ask, is it a penalty? Right after, he immediately says to Fabio Maresca, the field referee, one moment, Fabio, I'm checking the APP, the attack in position phase. Is it a possible penalty? Fabio, I recommend an on-field review for a possible penalty. Finally, a penalty is awarded. The key to the matter is, who was Paterna looking at? According to the theory presented in the complaint by Domenico Rocca, which was later dismissed by the courts, there are images of this. I'm going to show them. Later dismissed by the sports court, Paterna was looking at the referee's assignor, Gianluca Rocchi, who quickly got up from his seat to repeatedly hit the glass of the room. Paterna, the VAR, and Sosa, the AVAR, were trying to get his attention. And they, in turn, requested an on-field review from the referee for the referee to go and see it on the monitor. Daniele Paterna, recently called as a witness by the prosecution, had his testimony interrupted when the judge found he was not truthful and informed him he was now a perjury suspect. Of course, the guy was apparently very nervous because here they don't want to reveal anything, I imagine, right? Well, this was yesterday. I'm going to play this video where Paco Gonzalez explains it. And here they show the images because it's very illustrative. It's just 34 seconds, you'll see. This is really intense. And in Italy, I'm telling you, this will be resolved much sooner than the 2 decades, more than 2 decades of documented payments from Barça to Negreira.
The Milan prosecutor's office is investigating the official in charge of assigning referees for allegedly entering the VAR room and pointing out missed calls, like handballs or penalties, on video.
In the video attached by La Gazzetta, which is where we saw the information, you can see how the VAR room referees are making a decision. Everything's fine, and suddenly they look at the door because someone catches their attention, and suddenly that decision changes. So, well, it leads to the fact that between the audios being listened to that are being heard from the, well...
And that look, well, it seems like your look like someone is getting involved. Well, do you remember in Spain how that issue was normalized? Also, the way the guy looks and says, ah, yes, okay. Then he calls the referee on the field. Do you remember the adjacent room situation with Clos Gomez? It was normalized. Yes, there's an adjacent room. Okay. Do you know who's in charge of assigning referees now? Thank you. Now, without anyone knowing that they're paying the second in command, a referee chief, without anyone knowing, because maybe in a few years we'll find out. But when this was known, of course, there was no VAR. That's why Negreira sends them a formal legal notice in which he says, can I help you with the VAR? Of course, because the way they can help with the VAR is like that, with someone supervising those who are there, which is forbidden. It's forbidden. It can be, it can't be. In Spain, we have the adjacent room. Clos Gomez was kicked out, went to the Czech Republic and had an issue with a referee there. Well, that's it. By the way, the Burofax, I insist, let's keep an eye on what's going to happen in Italy because it's going to be intense. The Burofax from Negreira to Barça is on this wonderful page anyway. You have it in the description. It's called negreiragate.com. It's very simple, but I'm going to put it in the video description. I'll put the link for you. It was made by Gabriel Carreras, who is amazing. Yesterday, he was on Ricardo Ramos Neira's channel, also talking with Juan Luis Martín de Pozuelo. And this is the link, okay? The one I mentioned to you the other day. It's also available in several places. In fact, I'm going to put it on my website, but Gabriel Carreras has organized it so perfectly because he's an IT specialist here on this page that we're just going to use this one directly. The refereeing corruption case that shook Spanish football with documents, videos, and data explaining what the case is about. Timeline, here you go, year by year through what happened, the key figures, Barcelona's version, the articles about the topic, all the documents. Here is the Burofax, here is the report, the civil guard, the complaint, oh my goodness. Juan Luis's complaint, everything is here. Videos, here are links to our videos, etc. It's a small page, but with a lot of depth. So anyone who wants to see it can go there and so on. Apparently, it's getting a lot of traffic, so people are getting really interested. And the important thing about this is that international media see it. We're going to push as much as we can so that this, well, they already have it here. And in fact, UEFA suspended that in the spring of 2023. They suspended it, but didn't close the case, partly because not everything had happened yet and all that documentation wasn't available then, whereas now it is. And that's what Juan Luis Martín de Pozuelo has done by sending this to UEFA. And UEFA will ask the federation. The thing is, since no one had reported anything and the federation hadn't taken the initiative to inform UEFA about this, nothing had happened. But with this, something will happen. So that's why I'm telling you, we're on a very good path and I have high hopes. And that's it. There's the website negreiragate.com and you can check everything there. It's open to everyone, even to Barcelona fans who come there to realize what their club did. Paying a senior refereeing official for so many years. For what? For reports? No. For written reports? No. That started in 2014 with the Sun. Until 2014, there were some verbal reports that Laporta even says, no, yes, they existed, but they got lost. They threw them away, right? No. From the father. And he billed for aloe vera packs or for watching European Championships and World Cups that hadn't even taken place yet. Well, anyway, come on, have a great Sunday. Hope everything goes well for you. Give a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, share, and that's it. Hope you're all very happy. And I hope you didn't get too upset watching this video. Bye.